During holiday dinner, my 5-year-old announced, "My teacher says the bruises mean I'm learning." My daughter Emma said it while reaching for the mashed potatoes, her voice casual like she was talking about the weather. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. My mother went silent. My husband Jake looked at me with wide eyes. I asked Emma what she meant by that, keeping my voice calm even though my heart was pounding. She shrugged and said her teacher Miss Patty told them that when they get bruises during learning time, it means their bodies are getting smarter. She said it like it was the most normal thing in the world, then asked if she could have more gravy. I looked at my husband. He looked at me. Neither of us said anything for a long moment. My mother excused herself to the kitchen, but I could see her hands shaking as she picked up her plate. After dinner, I sat Emma down in her room and asked her to show me where her bruises were. She pulled up her sleeves and showed me small marks on her upper arms. Then she lifted her shirt and there were more on her back. My stomach dropped. I asked how she got them and she said learning time. I asked what learning time meant and she went quiet. She said Miss Patty told them they weren't supposed to talk about learning time because it was a special secret just for her class. Only the kids who were really good at learning got to do it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept looking at the photos I'd taken of Emma's bruises. They weren't random. They were in specific spots, hidden spots, places that clothes would cover. The next morning, I called the preschool and asked to speak with the director. I explained what Emma had said and asked about this learning time activity. The director sounded confused. She said there was no activity called learning time in any classroom and that she'd look into it immediately. An hour later, she called back. Her voice was different now, careful. She said she'd spoken with Miss Patty, who explained that learning time was just a creative name for their regular morning circle activities. She said some children bruise easily during normal play and that Emma might be exaggerating things the way kids do. I wanted to believe her. I really did, but something felt wrong. I started picking Emma up early from school, watching through the window before going inside. The classroom looked normal. Kids playing, singing songs, doing crafts. Miss Patty smiled and waved at parents. Everything seemed fine, but Emma started changing. She'd get quiet in the car on the way to school. She stopped wanting to wear her favorite purple shirt because she said Miss Patty didn't like purple. She started flinching when I touched her shoulders. I asked other parents if their kids had mentioned learning time. Most looked at me like I was crazy, but one mom, a woman named Rachel, pulled me aside in the parking lot. She said her son Marcus had been having nightmares about a dark room. When she asked him about it, he said it was where kids went when they didn't learn fast enough. Rachel and I started comparing notes. Her son had bruises too. So did another boy whose grandmother had complained to the school last month. That grandmother had been told her grandson was clumsy and fell during recess. I requested to see the classroom security footage. The director said cameras were only in hallways, not classrooms, for privacy reasons. I asked for Emma's daily activity logs. They were vague. Circle time, free play, snack. Nothing called learning time anywhere. Then I found the closet. I'd come to pick up Emma early one day and walked past Miss Patty's classroom. The door was slightly open and I heard her voice, sharp and cold. Nothing like the sweet tone she used with parents. She was telling someone to stay quiet or they'd have to do it again. I pushed the door open. The classroom was empty, except for Miss Patty standing near a supply closet in the back. She spun around when she saw me, her face shifting instantly from anger to a bright smile. She said Emma was in the bathroom and would be right out. I looked at the closet door. There was a lock on the outside, a padlock on a supply closet in a preschool classroom. That night, I filed a police report. The officer was kind but explained that without concrete evidence, there wasn't much they could do. Bruises on a 5-year-old could be explained a dozen ways. A teacher's word against a child's rarely went anywhere. But then Rachel called me at 11 at night. Her voice was shaking. She said Marcus had finally told her what happened during learning time. He described a small, dark room where kids had to sit perfectly still. If they moved or cried, Miss Patty would grab their arms and squeeze until they stopped. He said the bruises meant they were learning to be quiet. I drove to the school at 6 in the morning before anyone arrived. I needed to see inside that closet. The parking lot was empty and the building was locked, but I knew the side door by the cafeteria had a broken latch. I walked through the dark hallways with my phone flashlight until I reached Miss Patty's classroom. The padlock was still on the closet. I pulled out the bolt cutters I'd brought from my garage. The lock snapped off. I opened the door, and what I saw inside made me understand exactly what had been happening to my daughter. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below.